Rinse takes your laundry and hand-delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded. So you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
So did you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.
So good, so good, so good.
Give big, save big with Rack Friday deals at Nordstrom Rack. For a limited time, take an extra 40% off red tag clearance for a total savings up to 75% off. Save on gifts for everyone on your list from brands like Vince, Cole Haan, Sam Edelman, and more. All sales final and restrictions apply. The best stuff goes fast, so bring your gift list and your wish list to your nearest Nordstrom Rack today.
Welcome to Hear Her Sports, the Female Athlete Podcast. I am your host, Elizabeth Emery. I am delighted to be here with you today. It is always a treat to be talking to amazing female athletes. What an incredible opportunity to hear stories by and about women, to learn something about them and about ourselves. We have a mini swimming theme going on. Last episode, I was joined by author and swimming champion Hendrika de Vries, and this week, my guest is open water swimmer Vanessa Bonebrake. And this is fun. Vanessa has done several big open water events like Escape from Alcatraz, True Width of Lake Tahoe, and Swim Around Key West. So far, however, she has not competed in anything as long as swimming the English Channel, which is 21 miles. With a bit of encouragement from a mentor and perhaps even a push, Vanessa decided to apply to swim the English Channel. She was approved for a slot in August of 2027. It's 2 years away, and so at the moment she is making some organizational preparations, but won't start her physical training until August of 2026. We talk about the many components of prepping for a big project like this. For example, what to do about acclimating to the cold water. She lives in Florida, where she is surrounded by hot water and hot air. So she tells us a lot about cold water. Vanessa shines as a storyteller. She remembers so many details of each of her races. She shares those and also lovely stories about the very supportive community she has built. Vanessa dips back in time and mentions COVID. She reminds us that beaches were closed. That seems so weird. Anyway, when the beaches were closed in Florida, she swam in her little backyard above ground pool using a bungee cord thing. I've never heard of anything like that, so I put in the show notes a link so you can take a look at one of the models if you're curious. Vanessa would like you to enjoy swimming in lakes and oceans. She has partnered with an organization called Sea Dreamers to spread the word about the sport. It has been an Olympic sport since 2008, so plenty of people are doing it. One reason I like this episode is that Vanessa's sport history shows that each of us often has our own special sport that means a lot to us. She did many sports, but nothing has ever had the same appeal to her as being in the water and swimming. She even tells a funny story about realizing how much she hated running. Vanessa was born in France and started swimming when she was 6. When she was 10, her family moved to Costa Rica, where she continued swimming and joined one of the country's top teams and competed at the national level until she was 18. Vanessa took a break when she was in school, did some running, but then found swimming again. So let's meet open water swimmer Vanessa Bonebrake, and she can take over from here. All right. Well, Vanessa, it is so fun to have you here. You know, we know each other a little bit in person through mutual connections. I don't often meet in-person people who end up on the show, so this is really terrific. Thank you.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
Cool.
It was kind of like perfect how it happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on the show, and I'm excited to have you on the show, is that your next goal is to swim the English Channel in August 2027. And goals like swimming the English Channel are just so big. And not only are we talking about you have to swim a lot in preparation, but there's so much organization to do. So, how did you start open water swimming, and why did that happen? And tell me about that.
Yeah. So I grew up swimming. I wanted to do everything my brother did. He's 2 years older than I am. So by the age of 6, I was in a swim team, and I swam in the pool and did all the swim meets and all that. And I took a little break when I turned 17. And when I was about 25, I decided to start coaching. I got a chance to do so. And I got back into swimming. And I was still doing pool competitions. And then one day there was like open water competition, and it was nationals in Puerto Rico, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. And it was only a mile, and I did it, and to be honest, I hated it. It was really warm. It was the last day of the competition, the whole thing. We'd been out late the night before, and I was like, who likes to do this? And the water was dirty too. So when we went to Puerto Rico, that was my first like official race for me, and I did it more for fun and to try it out. And a couple of years later, one of my friends was like, oh, would you like to swim around Key West? And I was like, no, it's 12 and a half miles. I was like, no desire whatsoever. I'm fine not doing competitions anymore. It's great. And she's like, no, we'll do it as a relay. It's 4 miles each. Why don't we, let's do it. And then she used to be a coach with me, and we recruited another coach, and we decided to do it. And if you swim around Key West, it's very interesting because the scenery is beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing because like you're going around the island, so you see the different parts of the island. Old Florida, it's wonderful. The water is very, very warm because it's usually held in June. So Florida's already hot in June, and the water's about like mid 80s, high 80s. And it starts really early in the morning. Yes. And outside, I think it was about like all the way up to the 90s by the time we finished. And so what my two friends, and they're stronger swimmers than I was at the time. And I was supposed to do the first sort of middle length because they're a little easier. You go with the current. But one of my friends wasn't feeling well from the night before. So I ended up doing the last length, which is completely against the current back in the Gulf. And after that one, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can do like 2 miles. That's not bad at all. One of the girls that was swimming with me was like, oh, I'm going to do the whole thing by myself next year. I was like, you have fun with that. I never want to do that in my life. Because you finish and you feel so tired, and salt water kind of, your tongue swells up and it's really warm.
How long did it take you to do the 2 miles?
The 2 miles I doing about, I want to say it was about 2 hours.
Okay.
2.5 hours.
So the full competition would have been very long.
Yeah, it took about, we had a little boat on it and people following us. It's a big competition to have it every year. There's about, I want to say about 100 people or about that competes into it. And it's fun because I don't think it's allowed anymore because people got a little too crazy, but you can have either a kayak next to you the whole time or a boat next to you, so you can bring friends along if you want to, which is very, very rare in open water competition. Usually it's just either the people supporting you or the kayaker, but that's about it. Like there's no like viewing for anyone else. So I did that race, and then a couple years later, somebody that I knew wanted to do their first open water race, and he was a non-swimmer. He's like, do you want to do, it's called Alligator Lighthouse. There's no alligators whatsoever. It's in Key Largo, Florida. It's 8 miles. You swim out to sea to a lighthouse for 4 miles and come back 4 miles. It's beautiful. You go through, once you get to the lighthouse, it's like, you feel like you're in an aquarium. You see all the beautiful fish, like live coral. It's really, really nice. So we decided to do that one next. And that was maybe like 2 years after Key West. And he told me he was going to train for it and learn how to swim properly. And I was like, perfect. And maybe 2 weeks before, he told me he got in the water maybe a couple of times. And he was really ready. And he hadn't swum in the ocean, which is very, like, it's like the most important thing when you do an open water race. And I'm like, well, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Like, I don't really care which, either way. And he's like, why don't we switch every 2 miles or so? I'm like, perfect. And he got in and he started swimming. He's a super fit guy. And after a mile, he was tired. And I think we switched about 1.5 miles. And then I got in and swam a bit more. Then he's like, let me get in. So after 2.5 miles, I let him in again. And he gets stung by a jelly, which is very common here. And then he was like, oh no, I need a little break. So I ended up swimming 90% of the race. And then I decided I do not want to do relays anymore because I love all my friends and I love them way too much. And I feel like it doesn't matter if you're the same level or not. It just doesn't, there's always something that's going to happen that you have no control of. So I decided all the races that I want to do were going to be like solo races. So I went back the following year and did that race, the 8 mile by myself.
And did you like it? Are you liking ocean water swimming at this point?
So at this moment, I'm liking it. I feel like I like the challenge, and it gave me a goal to get into shape and kind of work out every day. So, because like when you're swimming, there's like different stages of swimming. You grew up swimming, you swam a lot. It was very strong. Then you're a grown up, and in your mid-20s, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for a swim. And then you don't really push yourself. You don't try as hard. And then you get to that age, like, I really need to get in shape and like try a little harder. And then you mature a little bit and you try it a little harder. And I think that I was at that point, like, I really want to get in shape again. So that was my goal. And I did that one and it was great. I ended up doing a couple of 1 mile races down here in Florida. And I started, kind of winning my age group. So that was always like, oh, this is nice, because I don't do this to win or, like be the best. I just do it for myself and challenge myself. It's never been like, I want to win this race and like be top. So it's kind of nice when I started winning my age group and all this different races that I did around here. And then I went home for Christmas one year and one of my friends was like, oh, I'm going to swim Alcatraz next this summer. You should do it. And I was like, I don't know. That's like cold water. I was like, I've been to San Francisco. I've seen the water. I'm like, I don't know. But then I was like, but that's kind of cool though, because you're swimming from Alcatraz all the way to San Francisco. Then I thought about it a bit more and he's like, no, let's do it. Let's do it together, which never happens. You never swim next to your friend when you're racing. Right. I was like, it's impossible. It's 1,000 people. But I was like, so he finally convinced me and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't know what to expect because in Florida, the water doesn't get really cold. So I started training in Florida. I would swim in the ocean every weekend. I swim every day. I used to swim about 6 times a week anyhow. So it wasn't so much of a stretch. It was only 1.5 miles. So it's not like I had to work that hard for 1.5 miles. I know I can do that any day. And 2 weeks before the race, this race was in July, one of my friends was like, oh, did you do any water acclimation? I was like, well, I take cold showers. And he's like, well, cold showers in Florida, it's like 75 degrees. It's not that cold. And I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, oh, good luck. And I was like, oh, gosh. So I get there the day before I got in to swim. And the water was freezing, like really cold.
It is
so
cold.
It's so cold. It was like typical like San Francisco. It was like maybe high of like 65. There was no sun out. I get in and swim a little bit. But it felt good though. Like I got in and within like, it hurt for a little bit, but within like maybe 10, 15 seconds, I started warming up a little bit more. And I swam for about half an hour. As long as I didn't stop, I was fine. I even met some people that were swimming and swam with them. It was great. And when I got out, I was like, oh, I'm going to try to go swim without a wetsuit and see what it feels like. And I did. And I was already cold, so it didn't change but it felt really, really good. And I felt stronger in the cold water than I did in the warm water.
Oh,
so
wow.
I kind of liked it a little bit more. I felt like I loved the way I felt in cold water. I felt a little stronger and it was just refreshing because when you do a race here in Florida, it's hot and hot. So you have to hydrate a lot while you're doing those races. You're always sweating. It's never cool. And then when you get out, you're even hotter. Like it's just not like your temperature just wants to like sit in like a really, really cold tub.
But there's such a stark difference between Florida and the San Francisco water. I mean, not everybody acclimates to cold water like that.
No, 100%. I was really lucky. So I got in it. I swam for about half an hour. I swam about 10 minutes without a wetsuit. your body temperature drops really fast. So I had to get into the shower really quickly. But what was funny that day is that everyone started tagging me on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, and they were like, there was a shark, and they caught a shark the week before. Like, how are you gonna swim there? You know, there's a bunch of shark there, like not even little sharks like we see here, but like great white sharks. And I was like, it's fine. I'm like, there's gonna be so many people. So I went to bed. The next day I woke up really early, and my husband's coming along with me to get my package, and my number was 25, and it's one of my favorite numbers because I was born on the 25th, and I was like, oh, it's a sign. So I was totally determined. We go over the instructions and everything, and they're like, make sure you sight the buoy in one of the buildings. I can't remember which one it was. And we're like, okay, perfect. So we get out on the ferry, and it's really cold. It's maybe like high 50s outside, and I think the water was like mid 50s.
Oof.
I did wear a wetsuit for that one, which was, I've never done that before. We get to Alcatraz. You have to jump up the boat and then kind of wait for everyone to jump out before it starts. And it's like 1,000 people. And then when you look up to see the tower and the buoy, you can't see it because it's foggy. It's San Francisco. So you're like, oh, great. So I decided to go to the front of the race, which I never do because I don't feel I'm super duper fast like most people. Like, I'm fast, but not super fast. And I decided to go to the front with my friend Eddie, who's the one that recommended this race with me. And when you swim that race, although it's only a mile and a half, the currents are really strong. And you kind of have to curve yourself to go to the finish. You can't swim straight because then the current will get you. So we wait for 10 minutes. The start starts, and I start going. And then it was like, I don't know, it just felt so good. And as you get closer to shore, you see everyone cheering for you. And it was because they have bleachers, and people are like cheering for anyone that's swimming. It's the most amazing feeling because when it comes to open water, like I said before, you don't get a lot of people watching you swim because you're in the middle of the ocean or wherever you're swimming. So I felt that energy. I could hear people cheering and the announcer and this and that. And when I got there and I finished, I remember like my mom was like, how'd you do? I'm like, I have no idea, but I loved it. It was so great. I love this cold water. It was great. And then I took off my wetsuit and I went to check the results, and I won my age group. And I was so happy because, like, I don't know, it's just a good feeling. You know, it's not something that happened to me when I was growing up. And it was just like, oh, I got my age group. My parents are here. I'm like, this is the best day ever. Like, that's so great. And I decided after that race, I was like, I do enjoy cold water. I went back and did a couple of races, did some alligator again a couple of times, and then COVID happened. And pool closes, the beach closes.
The beach closed?
Yeah, the beach closed here.
Oh, wow. Huh.
I don't remember for how long, to be honest, because it's kind of a blur.
Yeah, I sort of remember that. Okay.
So we could not swim in the ocean because at the beginning, they only closed the pool. We're like, it's okay, we'll go to the beach. And then they closed the beach. So then my friends had boats. So we would go into, it's called Lake Boca, but it's more like the intercoastal. And then they closed the ramps so we couldn't swim there anymore. So I used to tie, it was like a bungee cord to my fence. And I tied it around my stomach, and that's how I swim every day. And all my friends did that too. It's a bungee made for swimming. You're just swimming in place. If you think running on a treadmill is really boring, this is like 1,000 times worse.
Oh my God, it sounds terrible. So wait, what do you bungee yourself to?
To my fence.
Oh.
In my yard. I have a pool in my backyard, but it's like like a, you know, like one of those like round pools to have fun. So I would bungee swim for about 45 minutes on my lunch time because we're working from home. And it's not like you can do a workout or anything. You can use your paddles, do some strokes. It's super boring. Like, it's the most boring thing in the world. I'd rather run on a treadmill forever, and I don't even like running. So then during COVID, we were just training a lot because the world was kind of closed. I was also like running, and like I'm one of those people, I cannot sit on the couch for more than like 5 minutes. So I have to do stuff all the time. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna do some dry land workout, this and that. And my swim friends were doing the same thing. And one of my friends like, oh, I want to do my first race. Let's swim around Key West. And I was like, no one says that. No one says like, my first race is going to be 12 miles. But he did. And he's like, would you do it with me? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, no, seriously. I'm like, okay. So we started training for it. And I ended up swimming the 12 miles around Key West by myself. And we actually swam together at the same pace, which is totally not common, and had the best time ever. It was super hot. The water was like almost 90 degrees. But we finished it together, and I was so happy because I won my age group again. So I was like, yes, this is great. Like, it's great for your, like, it's one of those things, like, it gives you more confidence in yourself to do more and to push yourself more when you win those races.
Let's stop and talk a little bit about competition, because I think it is so interesting, because you started off saying that you didn't really care about competition. But obviously you're getting something from doing these competitions. There's a little bit of like reluctance because you're being dragged in by your friends, but you are doing them. So you must enjoy the competition part of it somewhat.
100%. So the more I did it, the bigger the challenge and the more competitive I got.
Okay.
And the more I won my races. No, so you're totally right. The more I ended up winning my age groups, the more confidence I got that I could do more and go further. And I totally love it right now because it made me more competitive. So we did that one. And then 2 years ago, I started seeing on social media Lake Tahoe. And I was like, oh, it's so pretty. Like you would see people swimming with the sunrise in front of you. And I've never been to Lake Tahoe, but it looked like the most beautiful place ever. And you could do the 12 miles. You can do 21 miles. And I think you can do 10 miles if you wanted to. And it just looked beautiful, like the most beautiful place in the world. And I was like, I want to do that. But then again, the water is very cold. And we don't have cold water here. And I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but I think I can, if I train and travel somewhere and kind of figure it out. So I signed up for it, and I wanted to do the 21 miles. But they said that they would rather I did the 12.5 mile width of Lake Tahoe instead of the length, just because I've never been in the water for longer than like an hour in cold water, sorry.
Right.
Because they're afraid of hypothermia and of SIPE. And that race was different for me just because most races that I do, I tell my friends about it, I tell my family about it, but that's about it. I don't really like advertise for it. So this race is a little more expensive because instead of a lot of people doing it with you at the same time, it's just you that day with the captain, the boat, your crew, and the official. So you have to pay for the captain, the boat. The captain and the boat are together, actually. The official. And then my crew is my husband because he's amazing. And he's learned so much about swimming things to me. So I was like, maybe what if I did like a fundraiser or something like that? So I started, I'm not a big social media person. Like I do post, but not every day. But I started posting every single day my swimming workouts and what like a fun fact about the swim or about open water swimming. And I did that every single day until my race. And to be honest, it really helped because I got so much support from everyone. Like people I didn't know would message me like, oh my God, I'm so inspired. I'm going to go for a swim today. I stopped swimming a long time ago. And a lot of people that had swum in the past and hadn't stopped swimming decided to start swimming again. Like it would send me like really nice messages. It was really heartwarming, and it was just like I felt so supported from all of them. And another thing that I did, I got sponsors, which I'd never done before. So I reached out to local places and charities and see if anyone, could help me out. And everyone came in as a community. I had a music studio sponsoring me. They were great, Little Wings in Gainesville. I work with a foundation that gives back to the planet, and they were sponsoring me with like swag and stuff like that. So I would advertise for them as well. So that whole swim was very, very different for me because I've never done any of that work before with the other ones. Every time like I would like get scared about the swim and kind of self-doubt myself, I would think about all these people that have been so supportive through social media. Even people I don't know through social media, I would reach out. And honestly, it'll help a lot to believe in myself and that I could do it. So for that part, it just brought everyone together. Even my friends were amazing about it because I couldn't swim. I swim in Florida every day, but it's really warm. So my swim friends decided that we should go to Rainbow River, which is North Florida, and swim there because the water is always 65 degrees. The water also has alligators, by the way. Just and I was like, I don't know. So they helped in a way because they rented a house and invited me over and swam with me 6 miles every day, which is a lot for them because they were not training for anything. So they're amazing for that. Another friend invited me to Maine, and he's like my swim partner, and he goes there every summer and rented a house, and we swam in the lake there, and the water was in like low 60s, and it was just great, like all the love and support for me to get to where I wanted to go. The week before my swim, my husband had planned a good luck party for me, and honestly, 60 people showed up for it.
Wow.
And it was the most amazing. It was so a surprise, and all our close friends, and they were just amazing, like I have like the best friends and community and the best family because they're always supporting me. So that is a lot. And I have to say that helps a lot when you want to do crazy things like I do. Because it's a weird thing to do. Not a lot of people open water swim. But it's the community is amazing. But the day that we flew to Tahoe, I wanted to be there a couple of days earlier to acclimate to the water. And it was the day that Microsoft, I think it was, had that glitch and all the flights were not flying for a whole day.
Yep.
So it took us about 30 hours to get to Tahoe. And we were delayed by a whole day. So I was trying to stay calm because when you do those races, it doesn't matter how ready you are physically and you can do it physically. A lot of it is mental. And as you know, it's so easy to go negative when it comes to when things don't go the way they should be. So I was trying to stay very positive. I was broadcasting it to keep on my social media, and everyone's like, I was like doing little like surveys. Are we going to make it? Are we not going to make it? And people were like replying. So that kind of helped a little bit because it does, like all those races, it doesn't matter what you do. Like even when you go for a run, like if mentally you're not there, it's going to be so hard for you to finish. So my goal was to be super positive. We got to Tahoe. We finally made it. I got to swim in the lake twice the day before my race.
What did you think of the water?
So I've never swum in such a beautiful lake before. And we went to this park where you could swim. And I got in the water and it was very cold. It was probably like 59, 60. But it was sunny outside, so it wasn't that bad. And I told my husband, I'm like, I'm just going to go for like 40 minutes, back and forth. And then I finished my swim. I felt good. Swimming in fresh water is very different than swimming in salt water. It's the water feels a little thicker.
Oh.
The strange thing about swimming in the lake is that, we swim in the ocean, you see so many fish and everything. It's so beautiful and you see the bottom, but you don't see any fish or anything. So that was very strange.
What do you mean thicker?
Thicker. It feels like heavy when you push the water. Like you float a bit more when in salt water than you do in fresh water.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And then when it just feels like a little, you had to push a little stronger through that water. Because like when you swim, you got to get that feel of the water. And when you feel, you get that rhythm and everything. And I feel because I'm so used to swimming in the ocean, I feel pretty light when I'm doing it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the lake, I felt a little thicker, and I was like, oh my God, this is like a lot of water. And then I swam for 40 minutes, and I could not find the beach I started at because everything looks the same. And I didn't have my phone. I didn't have anything. So then I just see my husband just like yelling my name. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. But it felt good. Then my race for Tahoe started at 4:30 in the morning. This was the first time I swam in the dark as well. I've never swum in the dark before.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, like
Or
that's my
different?
big. It's very different. No, it is scary. You're totally right. Well, it's funny because my biggest fear is the dark. Not even in the water, but out of the water. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's not the ocean. I'm terrified of the ocean." I'm like, I'm not. I respect the ocean. I'm not terrified of the ocean. But the dark really gets to me. So that's one thing I was a little nervous about. So I don't know if you're familiar with open water racing, but you have to start outside and you have to finish outside.
Yes.
So it took me a spot I had to go to. I had to jump in, swim to shore, get out of the water, and then I can start my swim. So she was going over the rules. I had to sign a few papers. I met my official. I'm putting on my grease and everything because for chafing, you have to put a lot of Desitin, and I put sunscreen as well and Vaseline. And I was so excited and so nervous and trying to get all the information because I don't follow instructions well, that when I jumped in the water and it was really dark, I didn't even care. I didn't get the chance to be scared. I was so like, the excitement was there, you know. And I swam to shore, got out of the water. They started the race, and I swam in the dark for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And it was the most beautiful sunrise, like it was planned, like I saw on social media. It was wonderful. And I finished that one in about 5 hours and 42 minutes.
And you're following the boat. You're not having to navigate.
So I'm following the boat the whole time. I have to be about a whole, like maybe 5 or 6 feet next to them. I can't drag off of them at all.
Of
I
course.
can't touch the boat. And my husband is the one that feeds me. So he throws a rope attached to a water bottle with my feet in it, or little like containers, and I eat them. So the whole time you cannot touch anything. Even when I switch my goggles, you give them to me, but I can drop them because that's littering and you can get disqualified. So you have to be very careful. But after that race, I felt really good. I really liked it. I was exhausted in a good way. After swimming for that long and being horizontal, your body doesn't know what's going on. For about like 24 to 48 hours, you just don't know like where you are, kind of thing. Like you're very present mentally, but your body's like tired, but you don't sleep well. You're not hungry for a long time either. It's very, very strange, and you got to hydrate a lot after. But it's very weird how your body reacts to that. And because I couldn't sleep and I can't stay still, I decided to go rock climbing. 2 days, the next day after. I'd never done it, but it was amazing. I was like, I'm sore already. I'm gonna be sore. Boom. So after that race, I was like, I loved it. I love cold water. I definitely love it more than warm water.
So how did you learn all this stuff that you were talking about, like the grease and the Desitin and how you have to feed? And, you know, I'm assuming that you're having to practice feeding and things like that.
Yes. So it's a lot of research. The feeding I did practice when I was swimming my long distances here in Florida, and see what works and what doesn't work for me. Because like things that might work for you when you're doing it, because our metabolism are different, it's not going to work for me.
Sure.
It was trial and error, to be honest. So when I would do my test sets on the weekend, that's when I try my feed, and I realized what would work. I do not respond well to anything that's not kind of homemade, which is kind of terrible because it's more work for me. So all those like power bars and gels and all that do not work for me at all. I usually drink this protein shake. It's really, really great. Like if you know, for the other athletes, if they don't know about it, call it Infinite. And basically you tell them what you're going to do and how many calories you need to burn. Replenish, sorry, and kind of how your metabolism work and what you want, and they make that protein powder just for you. It's really, really cool. So I drink that. I usually get fed every 40 to 45 minutes. I also do homemade peanut butter jelly on potato bread, and I cut them in little squares and then just put it in the corner of my mouth and eat them as I swim. And I use I do hydrate. In cold water, you don't hydrate as much as you do in hot water. I hydrate. I use a element tea, which is great because it's not too sweet either. But you kind of like got to learn what you want to do, which is going to change a little bit now that I do the English channel, just because most of the people that I've met do more liquid feeding, warm and cold. So I got to find something warm that I do enjoy having and my stomach will tolerate in order for me to get my feeds in. Because when you're swimming in cold water, you burn an extra 200 to 300 calories more just keeping your body warm.
Yeah.
Than you would do in hot water here in Florida. Because in Florida it's a little different because most important thing is hydration because it's so hot. And then my peanut butter works really well. I also learned a lot from my captain, the one that I use for Tahoe. She would have some webinars and she had so many good tips about like how to feed and everything, because before I was using a water bottle and then she's like, no, those containers are better, and kind of like different tips that were super important when it comes to Desitin and all that. Some captains don't like for you to use anything else that would kind of like are hard to remove from the boat, like like what's it called, aniline or something. It's very thick and it's really hard to clean. So Desitin is the best thing because it comes out really quickly. Vaseline is the most wonderful thing in the world when you're going to do a race because you chafe so much, especially in salt water. And I try it before, like everything that I do for a race, I try it for about like a couple months before to see if it's going to work for me or not. Because I chafe in different places than other people would. Because of the way my stroke is. So right. I'm like, my armpits, why is my armpit chafed? I don't know why, but it works that way.
And are you already making those decisions for your English Channel swim?
Yes. So after my Tahoe swim, a lot of people that have done open water swim added me on social media and who have kind of similar goals that I do. I met a couple of them, which is really cool. And I've asked them questions about, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And from them, I've learned a lot. So right now, the only thing I have planned for my English channel besides I have my captain and my boat and my crew and my workouts. But that's about it, really.
So you have workouts for, the next 2 years. It's about 2 years away, right?
Yeah. So basically, I'm starting my hard workouts August 2026 to August 9, 2027. All my workouts are planned already.
Wow.
I decided to start early because, I always wanted to do the English channel, but it's kind of one of those things that, you want to do it, and then you read about it, but it's super intimidating, especially because I've never done 21 miles before. So after Tahoe, I was like, I want to do another race, but I don't know what I want to do. And then we were driving with my husband, and I got a call from my captain from my Tahoe swim. And she's like, hey, do you want to swim the English Channel? And I was like, I think so. And she's like, I think you could do it. I totally think you could do it. I've seen you swim. You can do it. And I was like, you think so? And, she's seen a lot of swimmers. And she was like, I think you can. But if you want to do it, you got to apply tomorrow by 6:45 p.m. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, it can't be after that. Because after that, you won't get in. So I applied. And I didn't know for 2 weeks whether I got in or not. And it's kind of that, before it didn't matter because I hadn't applied. But now you're like, I want to get in now. I want to get in. I want to get in. Did I get in? Did I get in? What if I don't get in? Because there's a long wait for it, right? So I heard back from the captain and I got in. And when it comes to the English Channel, it's very similar to Tahoe, in which is like it's the same as the captain, the official. You have a little bigger crew because it's a further distance, but it's only you and the boat basically. So when you get a spot for the English Channel, there's 4 spots a week. And you can be swimmer 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you're number 1, you get kind of the first dibs to go first. And then the second swimmer has to wait till the first swimmer swims to go, and the third swimmer, and so on. So I got first swimmer, which is great. They give you a whole week window because of the transit that goes on in the channel. The currents, the winds. They can call me anytime on that week and be like, oh, tomorrow we start at like, I don't know, 3 a.m. Let's go, you know.
So they decide if you go or not and when.
Your captain does, yes.
Okay.
So when I get there, I've met my captain online. And I already booked him. And when I get there, I'm going to meet him and we're going to talk about how I swim and everything and decide, depending on the tides, the wind and everything, when I should go. And he's the one that makes the call.
And how long do you think it's going to take you, roughly?
So my goal is to finish in 12 hours.
Okay.
I really hope so. I'm really excited because most people, they swim around my pace, will do it in 12 hours, 13 hours. I've heard of people that go over 18 hours. Don't want to do that for sure. But you just never know because honestly, there's so many factors that you have to think about, you know.
Is there anything you're concerned about or like thinking that you need to pay a special attention to?
Yes. I'm concerned about, like, I think I'm going to be ready for sure. I'm a little worried about the water temperature. I'm happy I got August because it's like, it should be in the low 60s, which I'm really comfortable in. I want to make sure I get a lot of cold water training. I'm going to try to go to California and swim there a lot and kind of get into it. I'm also worried about SIPE just because I read so much about it. And it kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like,
what is it?
What SIPE is when after you swim in cold water, the pressure of the cold water against your lung makes them fill up with water.
Mm,
so like after good. Swimming, you like start coughing like a smoker cough. It can be treated like as long as you realize that you have that. You get treated. You go see the first aid. They give you, I think it's a steroid shot, and you're good to go. But the first time I learned about SIPE, I thought I could get it while I was swimming. So every time I like drank a little water and I cough, I thought I was getting it. So now I'm like, am I gonna get it? But no, those things that kind of worry about me. I'm worried about hypothermia, but I think I'm gonna be okay. I'm hoping for a good sunny day. But there's a lot of factors that come into mind. And
what about like jellyfish or other things like that? Are they there?
No. Yes, I'm not really worried about jellyfish because I get stung on a weekly basis.
You do?
Here in Florida, almost, yes.
What's it like?
It depends on the jelly that you get. So we have a lot of sea lice, and that's more like poison ivy. Like, it's kind of annoying, itchy. I'm one of those people that if a mosquito was to bite me, it swells up. It's the same thing with jellies. Moon jellies.
How long does it last?
Sea lice will last for a couple weeks if I don't scratch it.
Oh, really? Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah. But moon jellies, they hurt, but it goes away pretty fast. It swells up really quickly. You put some apple cider vinegar, a little bit of Benadryl, and you're good. We have man-o-wars here. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
A little bit. Those
are really mean.
Yeah.
They have the longest, they're beautiful, but they have the longest tentacles. And when they wrap around you, they kind of encrust their tentacles in your skin. So you have to go outside and you stand and take it off. And it hurts so much. So those really, really hurts. They last for like a couple of days only. But those are the most painful ones ever. But one of my alligator swims that I did, like depending on the season, for about like a mile, you get stung by jelly the whole time. Like you should hear the people swimming. It's like they're swearing the whole time they're swimming. They're like, ow, ow, shh. And like, I don't know if I can swear in this, but they're swearing the whole time. And it's funny, but it really hurts. But for about a mile, you get stung by jellies, depending on the season, yeah.
Huh. I think that would be enough to turn me off.
A lot of people won't do it anymore. And I'm like, it's not every year. It depends on the current. But,
right, of course. Yeah.
But there are jellies in the English Channel. Obviously, there's like sharks and all that. We see sharks when we swim here. We see really cool things. I respect all sea creatures. I'm not really afraid of them, to be honest. But yeah, you can see so many cool things when you swim. That's what I always tell people when when you're like, oh, you go in the ocean and you go deep. Is it scary? And I was like, no, like we saw manta ray 2 days ago. It's beautiful.
That is, yeah, wow. What do you, like, obviously you're a swimmer, but you do these other things. What is, like, why do you like swimming so much?
So there's a couple of things. My friend was like, one day she was like, oh, do you want to run a marathon? And I was like, not really. And she's like, what about a half? And I'm like, not really, but I'll give it a go. And I went running and I trained the whole thing, and I was always injured, always. And everyone's like, it's okay. You're going to get runners high. You're going to love this. I did the whole 13 miles and I hated every single minute. And I was like, this is not for me.
Right.
So I went back to swimming. And because I grew up swimming my whole life, it's such a muscle memory sport that you get back into it within like 3 weeks, you're back to normal, to what you used to do. For me, it like really, you get in the water and it's so peaceful and quiet. It changes your mood completely. Like I could have the worst day at work and I go and swim and I'm like so happy. Like it's just a very zen world for me. And I have a really good group of friends that I swim with, and some of them have been swimming for the past like 20 years, I think. So it's such a nice community. We're all ages. I mean, the youngest one that swims with us, I think she is like 20, and the eldest is 63 or 70 actually. And we have so much, I don't know, it's just a fun place for me. Like it's a little separation. It's what I do. It's like maybe my hobby. But it's something that I look forward to every day, and it's like a little break from, work life.
Yeah, I mean, you have a full-time job.
I do, yeah. So if I'm not training for anything, I just swim my 5 days and I do about a mile or two every day. When I'm training for something long, I have a very patient husband because sometimes I'll get up very early in the morning to swim. But if I'm training, like when I'm training for the English Channel now, and I really start my hard training, I'm going to be doing doubles a day. So I will be swimming at 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning, then at lunchtime or after work, and then a couple of times a week hitting the gym. So I make sure that honestly, I I try to eat pretty well. I get a lot of rest and a lot of hydration, and I have the best support between my friends, family, even at work. They're very flexible with my training because they know what I do.
I want to go back a little bit to this sort of this competition thing, because I know you've also said that one reason that you swim and you do these competitions is to challenge yourself. And one of the things that I like to talk about with some athletes is, how are you balancing that, desire to challenge yourself, but also this desire to perform really well?
That's a good question. The bigger the challenge, the more, I don't know how to say this. Like Tahoe, for instance, was a big challenge for me because it was different. It was longer. I had sponsors, and then I was very into social media, trying to get that support. So not only a challenge was something, but I was also like trying to perform my best because I didn't want to disappoint people. And in the long run, I was like, it's so silly. It's about me. They don't care if I fail or not make it. Like it's all in my head. I'm a very optimistic person, and I really try to be as positive as I can and try to focus, which is really usually not me at anything else in the world. But this is the one time that I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do to get there. And I kind of set myself little challenges to get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To push myself forward, because I'm not doing this just to be the best or like to win the best time ever. I'm doing it to make myself better and kind of like push myself out of that comfort zone that is so easy to stay in, right? Because sure, there's so many days I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do anything today, and go for a swim is not really what I want to do. But then I'm like, yeah, but then I'll feel better. I'm like, it might help in the long run. And I just push myself to go do it. Like some days after work, I'm like, I was at work all day in the office. I don't want to jump into the cold water. It doesn't matter. I think it's a mindset, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I often think about the mindset that athletes have in being able to goal set and think about far in the future and be really focused in a way that seems special.
100%. I think because I grew up swimming competitively most of my life, like until I was about 17 or so, it created that discipline. Like you just have to show up. Like it does. Like some days you just have to show up, even if you don't want to, and try to do your best, even if it's not your best times, or there's so much going on in life. Even when you're like a kid, you have, school was horrible, and just show up and do it, kind of thing. And I feel like I apply that also at work, and anything I do is like, if I'm going to be there, I'm going to be the best I can, um, to do well in what I'm doing. And I think part of why we started swimming is because it was easier to make friends in sports than it was at school. Kids were way nicer, and I feel like I've kind of done that here as a grown up too. I'm fine. I don't like, work is great and everything, but I have my community of friends that I swim with who are more than just swim friends. Like one day it was like, oh, does someone want to go get a drink, or do you want to come over for dinner? So it builds that community of friends, and we're all so close. And I think it kind of reminds me of what I had growing up as well.
Well, this has been great. Thank you. Thank you for chatting. Did we miss anything that you wanted to get to?
No, I appreciate you thinking about me. I mean, I do have something. I recently became an ambassador for this foundation called Sea Dreamers, which is pretty great because it empowers women to get into any outdoor activity sports that's related to the ocean. So like surfing, paddleboarding, swimming, but it also teaches about the community and how to take care of the ocean and the conservation and how we can get better at it. I'm super excited about this because I feel like I can help more people understand open water swimming and get into the sport, because at the end of the day, it's still a very young sport in a way, because it didn't make it to the Olympic until 2008, which is not that long ago. So I feel if you can encourage more people to do it, and I don't know, and then see what's next.
Well, great. That link will be in the show notes.
I appreciate taking time talking to me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great talking. Well, thank you, Vanessa. This was amazing. And when this episode comes out, I know you will be in Cleveland for a big Thanksgiving gathering. I hope you do get a chance to swim in Lake Erie because it is cold. I would join you if I were in town. I'm sure I would. Okay, maybe not. But I am sure you will love it because Lake Erie is absolutely amazing. Listeners, thank you for joining us. It is wonderful to be with you today. If you are a swimmer, I encourage you strongly to seek out the previous episode with author and champion swimmer Hendrika de Vries. She too has a special relationship with being in the water. Imagine this, Hendrika at 88 years old is still swimming the butterfly. If you are new to Hear Her Sports, take a look at all of the episodes at hearhersports.com. There is so much to learn and to discover. To get started, there are several Spotify playlists. A great place to start, of course, is the one called Favorites. There is also cycling, Olympics, aging well, and nutrition. All playlists are most easily found from the playlist tab at hearhersports.com. And to support what we do on the show, go to the donate or support tabs. That's it for now, so I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Monster Energy Everybody knows White Monster Zero Ultra. That's the OG. It kicked off this whole zero sugar energy drink thing. But Ultra is a whole lineup now. You've got Strawberry Dreams, Blue Hawaiian, Sunrise, and Vice Guava. And they all bring the Monster Energy punch. So if you've been living in the white can, branch out. Ultra's got a flavor for every vibe. And every single one is zero sugar. Tap the banner to learn more.
Ever wonder whether stoicism is actually as terrible as all those red-pilled bros on TikTok make it seem? I'm Tanner Campbell, American philosopher of Stoicism and host of the Practical Stoicism podcast, and I'm here to tell you that, thankfully, those bros couldn't tell the difference between their you-know-whats and a hole in the ground, let alone teach anyone anything about any proper philosophy. Stoicism is an ancient Greek virtue ethics philosophy all about developing a morally just character, and you can learn more about it by listening to my podcast, Practical Stoicism. Search for it today in your podcast player of choice and give it a go. I'm certain you'll find it, at the very least, informative.